Good afternoon, everybody. When I passed out from computer science in 1991, the only magazine that I used to read was Data Quest. And Data Quest was the first magazine that gave me the job. So that I couldn't afford more, but Data Quest was always there. So I think it is testimony to the longevity in the time that we spend today that everything is fickle. I think Data Quest has done a fabulous job, and I'm pleasure to be here as a co-founder to share my perspective on how enterprises looking at digital sciences and how blockchain as a technology can be an underlying trust factor on some of the use cases that has been discussed throughout the day today. If I can get my slide. Yep. So I work for DLT Ledger, as I said. Some of the use cases that I saw and the companies that are looking at in the areas of decision science are around what we call government, industry, and enterprises, right? So when I say government, I think there's a lot of discussion about what government can do with decision science use cases. The AI is only as good as the trust and the verification of the data that it's trying to collect and provide that as a decision to you. So I think all of a sudden, as a practitioner of this technology, I'm not sure what's happening. Are you good? Okay. Yeah. Are we okay? Yeah. Oh, thank you. So as a practitioner of this technology, there was a lot of hype about it in 2018 when the blockchain started to come to the fore. It completely died off over last few years, and since beginning of, I think, middle of last year, it started to come back as a trust foundation to anything that happens in the AI world. So we are seeing this across the industry. We are seeing this has to be kept in together with the AI discussions that we are doing. Some of the things we talk about process automation, I think there was a keynote from an NIIT gentleman. He talked about how Gen AI can really help. You do need the data to be trusted and coming through right sources. So smart contract enabled process automation is what I see across Asia that we work together as a use case. One of the other use cases that I see is secure data sharing. So how can you share data across different ecosystem partners? And we have our partner, a customer here, Hindalco Industries, and they have been talking about using this secure data sharing platform to really drive some of the efficiencies in their supply chain, right? So again, use cases around this could really help you to achieve some of the benefits where AI can add on to the AI can be the front, but the underlying could be the blockchain technology, right? Sustainability, this is big, right? So if you look at today, the world that we live in today, specifically for the exports that you do, huge amount of compliance requirements are coming in, specifically for things like EUDR, where any of the things that you export out of India, such as coffee or rubber or cocoa, I mean, you do need to have EUDR compliances sorted, and this requires you to provide an immutable chain of custody all the way from where you procure it to your customer, to the satisfaction of the EU authorities. Without that, you will get a huge amount of penalty. I think penalty to the extent of the 4% of your annual revenue. So things like that on sustainability, I think you do need data which is trusted, and that framework is really great. And the final piece is around supply chain digitalization. There are lots and lots of tools that existed. I used to work for a company before called SAP, and there are brilliant tools for procure to pay like Ariba, Coupa, Evalua. But I think they are all looking at providing just digitalization to one aspect. And if I can borrow Jasprit's word in the morning, redefining SaaS from software as a service to service as a software. So can I provide an end-to-end service which can go across all these different components, whether it's procurement or manufacturing or distribution, and provide that as a service with the enabled blockchain and AI-enabled software as a service. I think that's what the companies are looking at. So that's kind of where I see it, and there are layers of industries, layers of government, and layers of enterprises that could come in. In industry, that could be the automotive frameworks. So there is a framework called Katina X, where all the global automotive manufacturers have come together. In chemical industry, it's together for sustainability. GTFS framework where a lot of global chemical companies have come together. So you need to create those frameworks where you can use these technologies together. So what is DLT Ledger doing? So we have a framework called Proteus, which is basically what I call is the future of ecosystem architecture. All of the use cases that I talked about yesterday in the previous slide requires an ecosystem. So when you have to create the ecosystem, you need an architecture that goes beyond the classical portals, goes beyond the classical integration that you see today. You need something which is providing service to each of the ecosystem actor. So one of the fundamental difference that we have in our Proteus technology is that not only the main party which has a software, like in the case of Hindalco, let's say not only Hindalco Industry has a software, but their partners, which are the tolling companies, they also have the full service software. And their tier 2 tolling companies also have full service software. And their processes are all mapped and digitalized using kind of a workflow configurator that we kind of build it and it delivered to the customer in 2 weeks time. So that's the Proteus technology which kind of helps cover some of the use cases that I discussed in the previous slide. And this is where we have Akshay and Arvind from Hindalco Industry representing here. Unfortunately, Purav couldn't make it, but this is something that we believe is first in the industry today. I think the first of its kind through Purav Seth's leadership that we got this going, ecosystem collaboration of how the tolling manufacturing happens across in aluminum industry. And this was the hardest problem they were trying to crack for I think about 4 to 5 years. They tried different technologies, different providers, they couldn't crack it. And it's pleased to see that they cracked it with Proteus platform and the benefits are for you to see. The huge amount of cost benefit. I think today the CIO and CDIOs are looking at technologies which can help them save cost. Obviously efficiency is great, but if you can save some cost, I think that's what everybody is looking at because market is becoming competitive in the context of the trade wars and compliances that you see today. I think it's hugely competitive. I think the cost saving is a huge aspect of it. Reconciliation of this inventory across the different tollers, the multiple tiers of tollers is another big benefit. The auditors now have a view of this. So the great view about this is because it's a multi-party framework, auditors can also have a view of this and they don't need to spend a lot of time and physical visits to all these tollers because they can see each of those tollers, what they have been doing, what their process at their end is, and it's very easy to use. We provide that as a tablet so the tollers can actually kind of participate in this process very easily. The benefit in terms of the time taken from connecting back to their core ERP system and digitalizing it is also dramatically reduced. And I think the last point is about the data accuracy, right? So there's a huge amount of accuracy. Now there was several amount of Excel spreadsheet that the team was handling with WhatsApp messages, Excel spreadsheet. All of this has gone away and now you can have a collaborative platform to look at data, document and lineage all in one go. And this is really huge and I think you can see the quote that this is first of its kind and hopefully in the sharing like this the other leaders can who are in contract manufacturing, this can apply to pharma, it can apply to other industries as well, automotives where you are having multi-tier of your supply chain. You could actually use this at a scale to deliver this project in about 2 to 3 weeks to get to life, right? So that's really the huge value. The final thing is how do we move forward because I understand that I'm between lunch and one more panel, so I want to be respectful for my next panelists. So how do we move forward here? I think you should really look at what challenges you have in the ecosystem collaboration area. If you are an enterprise, look at ecosystem challenges area in the upstream, in the midstream, in the downstream. How I can deliver the solution to you in 2 weeks for that multi-party problem statement. How each of the party in that ecosystem has their software which is so different from the portals. Each of the otherwise, I was working with another company in Thailand earlier this week. They were talking about, I have 27 different portals. So there is a death of portal because you don't need those many portals. You need the software that can be serviced by each of the ecosystem parties. And there is the document, and that's where the AIPs come. So if you have documents like purchase order, invoices, related documents, compliance documents, certification documents, if you can convert that, as part of the GenAI prompt engineering, which is included already in the Proteus platform, data document and collaboration, which is chats. All of this can provide that lineage that can really help save efficiency across the value chain that we are talking about. So that's really it. I'm within my 10 minutes. So thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to my next session here as a panel in this area. Thank you.